Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to the zombie layer video. I'm going to do my best to simplify the strategies behind attacking zombie layers. The most important part is testing to find what's the highest level layer that you could solo. And then in knowing that, who's the strongest player online or what's the highest level layer that they could clear. And it's most cost effective if everybody just joins with one troop with that player. But let's say you want to push further, they're not online, they're out of stamina, whatever. We're going to use Crazy Bacon as an example, and we can apply those strategies to any level layer. Just know the troop formation and the highest level layer that each player can solo, but we'll get to that. So Crazy Bacon can solo a level 33. He has everyone to send one as a test, and he's a rider formation. So you can only ask for shooters and taxis as a support unit unless there's a stronger fighter player online. If they could clear a 34 or higher, they would just solo and Crazy Bacon would go behind them. If you don't understand that yet, hopefully you will by the end of the video. But his casualties are 4,536. So our taxi's good to send. In any case, they're in the back. And he himself got 4,533 casualties. And look, he now only has to pay for 2,300 tier 9 riders to be repaired. And we have 2,000 taxis being repaired. So we brought the cost of healing down with taxis. And it didn't change the outcome of the battle. You still won. Do stronger vehicles help? The answer was no. Well, yes, but there's no notable change, so I guess it really doesn't matter. That was the note here, no notable change. So we tried for higher level layers. How do we support it? Let's test the support. So we know that sending taxis will help with any solo layer run to share casualties. Okay? So let's say you want to push further past your solo layer run. So as Crazy Bacon, for example, he could do a 33. He's a rider. He's like, hey, let's do a 36. I need shooter or vehicle support. So we ended up failing. We got a 47. Here was the support units. This many tier 9 and tier 8 shooters. All right. For shits, we added cars. We're like, hey, do cars help on top of the units? It actually went from 47% to 48. Whoa. And I guess it just proves cars can help a little bit. So the next thing, if there's enough support behind the strongest frontline unit, higher level layers can be cleared with minimal casualties. So here we are with a clear, 50% clear on the level 36 layer, and the total casualties was 25,700. Compared to the loss, it's about this. It's the same thing. So it didn't affect casualty outcome whether you could clear it or not, so long as the formation is correct. So if people throw in like low tier fighters in with the rally, it will increase the time that the battle goes on. And for the sake of the video, I'm not going to go over it, but here's why that is. If you read all this. This is why you shouldn't send low tier units into a high level layer. You're better off just sending one. Anyways. So we have an example of that. We ran one with not enough range support, and there was low tier units mixed into the front line. It's a great example because despite the win and getting the clear, the casualties are 10 times higher. Instead of 20,000, it's 215,000. And the low tier units mixed in, it's not because of the taxis, it's because of these tier 8 veterans or fighters mixed into the front line, causes more casualties. It's harder to defeat the lair. And it's important to note that the tier 9 fighters are probably okay, but not all tier 9 fighters are created equal. It's based, again, on the highest level layers. So Bacon's running the rally. Hopefully those tier 9 fighters can clear a level 33 layer. Otherwise, you should all just throw shooters and vehicles in with a rider rally, and don't mix weaker frontline units in. It will be harder to beat the rally. And it's a great transition, because so then what if you had riders too? Should I throw some riders in? Well, only if they're as strong as as strong as a level 33 layer. We have an example of this with shooters. So on the topic of the same troop type, whether it's the front line or in the back supporting, you should not mix in lower tier units together. I think it's ideal you just have, one fighter, one rider, one shooter, because we've kind of proven that weaker support units mixed in the front is bad. We've also found out that weaker support units mixed in is bad as well. With the recent event, Happiness and Love is a frontline fighter. Craze is the shooter support. 75% clear with 3,300 casualties. Okay, so I'm like, with more support, we could bring those casualties down, which was actually wrong. We, despite getting more shooters in, we did do 1% more damage or units killed, but I doubled the casualties for us from 3,000 to 6,000. My guess or theory with the knowledge here is that my lower tier troops get in the way and somehow cause an increase in casualties by, there not being damage done by the tier 10s. My tier 9 shooters are in Craze's way. So not all units are created equal. I can't just join in and get in his way, even though the formation's correct. So to wrap this up, we have our last example. We'll try to throw it all together. Know that every situation is different, though. Each player can solo different levels of layers, and even though troop formation may be correct, not all units are created equal. So you want the strongest unit up front. We had an ideal situation where 3 of us got together and one could do a 28, one could do a 29, one could do a 31. Luckily, the fighter, the frontmost unit, could do the strongest one. So we're like, hey, we'll hop behind you. This last sentence here, if a stronger rider or shooter player is online, me or Sleep, the rider and shooters in this case, should back out and just send one and let the stronger player hop in. Maybe they could have done a 34 together. But in any case, we did a 33, and here's how it played out. Really low casualties. We ended up getting it right, and the casualties are only 4,000. We got one of each troop type. We put the strongest player up front. This is what happened. Kind of put it all together. Thanks for watching. This will probably be the longest video I ever make, guys. If you have questions, just hit me up. It helps to have this video. I think it is geared more towards the higher level players, because the lower levels should just tag along and reap those benefits of the higher level layers. But as everyone gets stronger, I think this information is going to help us all out. It's already starting to kick into gear, and people are catching on. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to make this complicated. Just solo the layers that you could face if there's not stronger players online. If they are online, just hop in their rallies, follow the instructions. The rally hosts always post what to do. You guys can always ask. Just hit us up, and good luck.